Hello guys, welcome back to another video. I thought today that I would do another day in the life of a writer video because I haven't done one in a while. The last one I did was my week in the life of a writer, and things have changed a little bit in terms of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis now. This is just a little intro and we'll get on to the main video. I apologise if my hair looks really flat. It's second day hair, so it is a little bit flatter than when it's fresh. So yeah, let's just get into it. It is, oh dear. Oh dear. What? The cat is not happy. Today, for some reason, he's been really mardy. Right, it's 7:30, so Tom went to work about half an hour ago. I went up and just put a little bit of makeup on because I knew I was going to be on camera, and I knew I needed a little bit of makeup. So I'm going to make a coffee now, my first coffee of the morning. We've got into a really good routine probably over the last few months. Finally, after 18 months of being here, we've finally got into a routine that works. And Tom gets up at 6:30 in the morning, jumps in the shower, and then he gets me up, I get in the shower, we both get ready, Tom goes off to work at 7 o'clock, and then that's when my day starts. Now, I don't start work at 7 o'clock because it's way too early for me. I'll just walk over here while I talk to you. Yeah, I don't start work at 7:30 because it's just far too early for me. But what I tend to do is come downstairs, make myself a coffee, give the cat his breakfast if he hasn't had that already, but Tom's fed him this morning, so we don't need to do that. Kitchen, however, does need tidying, but I'm not going to show you that because that's the beauty of YouTube. You don't have to show your disgustingly messy kitchen, which is there. There's all last night's dinner stuff piled up in the sink because we were really lazy and didn't even load the dishwasher, which is when you know you've been really lazy, when you don't load your dishwasher. So I think I'll let the kettle boil and I'll empty and reload the dishwasher. Can I do something about the auto lighting? That's slightly better. So I've just had to play around with the settings on the camera just because it was looking really dark. And I know that like these really expensive cameras can automatically brighten a room and make it look a lot brighter than it is. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't help, it is still dark outside. So I can't exactly like have a massive go at the camera, and I have only got that light on. So having a go at the camera for not brightening the room up completely is a bit harsh on it. But I have just made a coffee. I've got my coffee here. Yes, I know it's a Christmas mug. It also has a massive crack. Oh, you can't see it on camera. Oh, you can't see it. It has a massive crack down it, which I know is a bit risky. Living life on the edge every time I have a cup of coffee. And I know, probably not the most hygienic, but don't really care, I love this cup. I have seen some new mugs for the new house though. Exciting! I'm not going to show you them, obviously. But I've seen some new mugs. They're from Jules and they're lovely. So now I've got my coffee. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit at the breakfast bar, and I think I'm maybe going to catch up on some of my YouTube, YouTube subscriptions, because there's a couple of videos I missed from people. So I'm going to watch those probably, it's 8:22 now. I think I might watch them until 8 o'clock. I think I might watch 20 minutes and then I'll go upstairs and start some work. So I'll catch up with you then about what I'm going to do for the day. So it's now 8 o'clock-ish. I think it's about 5 past. And I've come up to the office, obviously. And I'm just finishing off watching a video on my phone. I've got myself another coffee, and I've also got myself some breakfast, and it's a bit different today, so I'm going to show you it. I usually, for breakfast, to be honest, I usually go in for toast, just because I really like toast. I know it's not the healthiest breakfast to have, and I do try to have as healthy breakfast as I can, but I like toast. And as it's getting warmer, we have mostly smoothies in the summer, so I'm really looking forward to being able to have more smoothies. But I found strawberries at the supermarket last night, which is great because in France, unlike in the UK, in France, a lot of fruit is seasonal, so you can only get it at certain times of the year. And the strawberries that they've had in the supermarket have been quite obviously from like a greenhouse or something, because they've been tiny, they don't last 2 minutes. But we've started getting proper strawberries back in. So this is my breakfast. Wow, they look really orange on camera. They're not that orange in real life, I promise. But I've basically got some toast. I've put a tiny smidgen of peanut butter, and then we've got banana and strawberries. So, and I've got some extra strawberries in a bowl here because although I bought the punnet yesterday, they do go off really quickly to fruit and veg here. So I thought I might as well just eat them all. So it's a really, really big breakfast for me. I don't normally eat this much, but at least it'll keep me filled up until, well into lunchtime, I would have thought. So yeah, there you go, there's my breakfast. I'm not sure what it's going to be like. I've never had strawberries, bananas and peanut butter together. I'm sure it'd be lovely though, because I love all of those things individually. So yeah, I'm just going to eat that. I'm going to drink my coffee, I'm going to finish watching this video, and then I'll catch back up with you to let you know more about how my day's going. Okay, so excuse the bad angle, but we've got a little friend on the desk. Hello. What, baby? What? It's been so cuddly since he came back from the cattery after our trip to the UK. You just love snuggles in the morning, don't you? Hey? Oh, my baby boy. So I can't start work because I'd have to put him on the floor, and I just can't bring myself to kick him off the desk at the moment. So we're just going to have a 10-minute cuddle, I think, and then I'll knock him onto the floor. Not knock him onto the floor, but pick him up and put him on the floor. And then I'll actually start some work. Because, I mean, it's not ridiculously late. It's 10 to 9, so it's not even official. Hello? I'm sorry, do you want me to stop talking? Right, it's 8:54. I really had better get on with some work now today. Let me have a quick chat with you about things. So, in my Week in the Life of a Writer video, I was doing quite a lot of work for Slate and Rose, which was the freelance contract that I have. So my contract came to an end at Slate and Rose. It was only a 6-month contract. So it was probably quite good in a way because the next couple of months, as you'll know if you've seen my update video, are going to be really busy and really hectic with the move back to England and stuff. So it's probably a good idea, a good reason that it has come to an end really for now. And there are possibilities that we may work together again in the future. But it means that I am down a bit of money every month, obviously, because I was getting paid for that work. So things are a little tight for the next 2 months. It also means that I'm going to have to get either some more freelance work, or I'm going to have to go back to part-time work when we get back to the UK. But I'm not going to go into that a lot now. I'll talk about that at some point in the future when I get back to the UK and we know what's going on there and stuff. So what it means for my day is that I'm now completely free to work on my book, which I'm on to book 2 now, which I think I was in, yeah, on the Week in the Life of a Writer, I'd finished book 1. I think I was actually doing some of the edits, wasn't I? I was reading through some of the edits for that one. Book 1, let's go from a book where we are with book 1 first. It's really hard to know like what you want to hear and to try and compartmentalise it in my head. Book 1 is completely finished editing. I've read through it, I'm happy with it all now, it's all ready to go. The only thing is I am waiting on the final proof of the book cover because it's going to have a dust jacket, so it'll have pictures on the front and stuff like that and illustrations. So I'm waiting to see the final version of that. Once I've got the final version of that book cover and it's signed off, I am going to do a video showing you what it's going to look like. So that's quite exciting, something to kind of keep an eye on over the next month or two. But the only other thing for that needs to be done is I need to do the index, which I should probably start now, to be honest. I might schedule some time in to do that today or tomorrow. So I know I need to do the index for book 1. That's the only thing that I need to do now for book 1. The team over at the publishers are working on everything else. I haven't got a final date for publication yet, but I know it's the end of June. So that's cool. So I'm on to the research for book 2. And I've just sent an email to my editor asking him if I can have an extension for book 2, because it's changed quite a lot in its concept. Originally, I was looking at women in the Tudor period who chose not to marry and what they did instead. But when I started researching it properly, I could only find 2 or 3 women from the Tudor period, and I just didn't think that that was going to be strong enough to make a book out of. So I basically changed it to, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 5 women at the moment. There may possibly be a 6th that I'll put in at some point. But there are 5 women at the moment, and they span from like the 1600s all the way up to the very early 20th century. So that's like the early 1600s to very early 1900s. And what I'm doing is I'm basically doing a chapter for each woman. So the book will start with a little history of marriage and how marriages kind of changed over the centuries, how expectations have changed, even how marriage itself has changed. You know, now we have same-sex marriages, whereas, you know, in the 1600s that gay relationships were totally illegal. So there's going to be like a little kind of potted history into marriage, and also into the expectations of women who were from an elite family, who were part of a country house family, their expectations regarding marriage, or should I say their expectations and the expectations of their families, because those things were sometimes very different. Sometimes an elite heiress wanted to marry for love, but the family were like, nope, you are marrying someone that will further the family cause. So that's going to be kind of the introduction to the kind of book. And then each chapter, it's going to start in chronological order. So there's going to be a chapter for each of my women. And the first one is going to be Elizabeth Isham in the 1600s. And the last one at the moment is Rosalie Chichester from Arlington Court. And she goes up to the very early 1900s. So they're going to have a chapter each. And the reason that I've done it like that, I've done it by chapter for each woman, is that because they all come from different centuries, I can talk about the historical context of their lifetime and tell you their kind of whole story all within one chapter. So I'm not having to like cross over different time periods throughout the book. So bearing all of that in mind, how that book has kind of formed, I needed more time basically to research it and to put it all together and go through the process and everything. So I emailed my editor last week, and asked him if that was okay. I also proposed to him a 4th book, just because, you know, I thought I'd add another one to the list. I've basically been having this idea for a 4th book for a while now, and I've been playing with it, I've been thinking about it, and I think it's a really valid kind of investigation to do for a book. But if he says yes, that he's quite interested in that, I think that would do better as a book 3 than what I currently have as my book 3. So basically, I would do book 1, which I've written, book 2, which I'm doing at the moment, and then book 4 would be the next one. I'd make that book 3. And then the last one, which is about Victorian women, would come as book 4. And the reason for that is I think that this new book that I'm proposing fits better in the sphere of the country house, which is what the first 2 books are about. So anyway, I'm just waiting to hear back from him. But the extension that I've asked for book 2 is quite a long one. I've asked for an extension up to October, which sounds like a really long time, and it is a long time. It means that I'm not going to get my second book published until probably this time next year, which is a bit... it's good and bad in some ways, because I need more time to research, and obviously we're going back to the UK at the beginning of May. I've got all of the summer then to do research across the country, which is what I'm going to have to do for this second book. I'm going to have to travel across the country researching. And it means that I'll have lots of time to do a really good book. I'm also anticipating that if I do have to go back to work 2 or 3 days a week, I'm only going to have half of the week to write and to research. So I'm just kind of trying to think of all of that and arrange all of the deadlines for book 2 now. So I'm waiting on an email back from Jonathan regarding that. I've got the index to do for book 1. And then in terms of actual research for book 2, at the moment, I'm doing quite a lot of research into my second lady, who is called Anne Lister, and she's actually a West Yorkshire lady, which is lovely. I really like being able to include local women in my books. She was from Halifax, near Halifax, which is very near to Huddersfield, which is my hometown, and she was an heiress to a country house called Shibden Hall, and it was actually, the house actually belonged to her uncle, and she was her uncle's heiress. And she was a lesbian, and so she never married in the conventional sense, but she did have 2 partners, 2 kind of loves of her life, the first one of whom was already married to a gentleman, and so they had a very secret relationship, and they wrote all their letters to each other in this like kind of crypt hand, which needs to be decoded in order for us to read it nowadays. Like, there is like a key, so you can, it's not like a code breaking or anything, you can decrypt it. And luckily there's a lady called Helena Whitbread who has decoded the first half of her diaries, and so I've got this book here, which is Helena Whitbread's translation, kind of, an edited collection of Anne's letters and diaries. So that's what I'm reading at the moment. I'm trying to get through the rest of that. Obviously, I'm doing my usual trick of reading and then copying down bits that I think will be useful for my book. So I really, really want to finish. You can see where I'm up to. I really want to finish that this week. So I think one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to get on with some more of this and try and read some more of this and annotate it down. But I haven't yet done my work list, things to do for the week. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'll come back to you and show you what I've got on the list. And then we'll prioritise for the day according to the list. Okay, so I've done my list for the week. It's quite a short one because most of the things that I've actually got on the list are probably going to take up quite a bit of my day. So I'll show you what I've got. So the top one is my freelance work for Select Specs. I need to email regarding invoicing procedures because they've had a couple of handovers and I'm not sure how to invoice now for the work that I've done. I need to brainstorm and submit some new article titles. We have to get all our titles signed off first before we can write them, so that's what that means. Book 1, I obviously need to do the index, and book 2, I need to finish the Anne Lister book, and I want to follow that email up with Jonathan about extending my deadline if I can. So that's it. It's a bit of a boring things to do today list this time, but that's what today and tomorrow is going to be about. So yes, I am going to get on now with a few bits, and I'll do some kind of montage speeded up bits of me doing my work. Hey guys, so we're back after lunch. It's now 1:30, and I've got myself a coffee. I'm back in the office again, as you know, and I'm just going to continue ploughing on with this book, I think. I'm going to see if I can get at least through this particular chapter that I'm on. So if I can get this chapter done, see what time we're on by then, and then I might have a look at the index, because I think it's playing on my mind a bit that I haven't started that yet, so I'm going to have a look at that. Although I think I was actually waiting on an email. Yeah, I was waiting on an email from one of the ladies at the publishing house who was supposed to send me over like some, there's like some guidelines for how to do your index, and she said she'd attached them to the email but she hadn't. So I need to follow up on that email to ask her to get those guidelines sent over to me. That I kind of need that really to do it. So I'll carry on with this chapter and then we'll have a look and see if we've had an email back from her. Hello, I'm back again. My hair seems to be getting flatter the further through the day we go, so I apologise, it looks really thin. But it's now 3:20. I'm really struggling to keep focused on the book. Not keep focused isn't the right word. I think I'm just getting a bit weary of doing the same thing. I've been probably over 6 hours now, just been reading and writing constantly. So I need a little break. So until 4 o'clock I'm going to take a 40-minute break, and I'm going to do a little bit of colouring. And this is what I've got. I basically used to have this, which is a calendar, and each of the days has a different colouring in that you can do. But as you can see, I've actually done them all, and I don't have any other colouring books to do. So all I'm going to do is just do the front of it, because it's the same kind of material. This bit's gold, so I can't colour over that, but the white and black bits are just like the same material as the actual colouring pages. So I can colour this. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this really. So this is one of the beauties of working for yourself, is that you can take a little break when your brain's a bit fried. But it does mean that when you are working and doing your work, you kind of work more intensely because you haven't got the distraction of the phone or a colleague asking you a question or a meeting or anything like that. It's more intense work that you do because you're just on your own doing the job that you need to do for the day. So even though you might think that a 40-minute break in an afternoon is really long, if you think about all the little breaks that you take throughout the day where you're talking to colleagues or answering the phone or writing an email to somebody or something like that, I bet it adds up to the same amount of time. So not that anyone's going to question this anyway on my videos. You're all really lovely people that watch my videos. But just in case you're thinking, oh God, that seems like a long time to have a break. That's kind of how I rationalise it, is that I'm not having any kind of interactions with any colleagues or anything like that. So taking a break when I need it should be okay. So yeah, I'm just going to do that. I might film a little bit, but I've not got much battery left on my camera, so we'll see how much I can capture. Again. So it's now 6:30 in the evening. I sadly didn't get to the end of my chapter, but I did manage to get that huge long passage written out, which was really good. I'm probably not that far off. What month am I in? I'm in August, so I'm probably only halfway, because each chapter's broken down into a year, so you can always tell how far through the chapter you are by which month you're on. So I'm on August. There's still another 6 months worth, so there was no way I was going to finish it tonight. That was being a bit ambitious. So Tom's just got home. I've just been down to have a chat with him, so he's just listening to, I can hear something, it's probably a YouTube video or something that he's watching. So I finished quite a bit of that, and then the last thing that I was doing is I was looking through the footage from our ski trip, and I was just doing a tiny little bit of editing. So I'll show you a little bit of it. So this is what I've been doing. Trying to find a bit where you can actually see me skiing. Getting covered in snow. So there you go. You'll probably have already seen that video by the time you see this one, because the skiing one's going up before this Day in the Life one. But if you haven't seen my skiing one, then that's a little bit of what it is, and I'll link it above in an iCard thing so you can see it. So yeah, I'm finishing for the day now. I'm going to close my laptop down and I'm going to go downstairs. Haven't done anything on my list that I can actually tick off, but I did get an email back from the lady at my publisher with the index kind of guide. So I know I've got that in my inbox now for starting the index on book 1. And like I said, I didn't finish my Lister book, but I have made quite a lot of headway in getting it kind of read and annotated today. So I'm afraid it's been a bit of a boring day in the life of a writer in terms of actually getting things done and actually working through tasks and things, but this is a realistic day for me when I am deep in the research stage of a book. So yeah, that's kind of it really. I do have an Instagram account which is called Charlotte Finesse Writer. I'll pop a little word thing here so that you can see what it is. If you're interested in my writing stuff, then pop over and follow that Instagram page, because now that I'm not doing my freelance work anymore, I can concentrate a lot more on developing that Instagram page. So it doesn't have many followers at the moment, so if you could go along and follow it, I'd really love that. And there's going to be more writing stuff and books and lots of different things going on there. That's going to become my main kind of social media platform. I've obviously got my Facebook page, which is linked down below, and I've got my website, but I feel like Instagram's where most people are engaging at the moment, so I'm going to be mostly doing Instagram in terms of kind of stuff. Obviously I'm still going to continue with my YouTube videos, but yeah, go and follow that if you fancy doing that. And I will catch up with you for another writing video at some point in the future, but you'll be getting lots of other videos from me over the next month or so anyway. So yeah, hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you again soon.